Twilight Zone, the movie, 1983, a casual overview. Ready for something strange? Let's talk Twilight Zone, the movie, Hollywood's wild attempt to bring Rod Serling's iconic 1960s TV show to the big screen. 4 stories, 4 directors, and a seriously dark cloud over the whole thing because of a real-life tragedy. Release and crew stuff. This one hit theaters on June 24, 1983, with some pretty huge names behind the camera. John Landis, Steven Spielberg, Joe Dante, and George Miller. Spielberg and Landis produced it, Warner Brothers put it out there, and the whole thing is an anthology. That means a bunch of smaller stories instead of one big plot. And yep, it's inspired by Serling's original TV series. You know, that show with the twist endings and super weird stuff. Setting the stage, the segment's prologue. Director, John Landis stars, Dan Aykroyd, Albert Brooks. 2 dudes cruise down a dark road, chatting about old Twilight Zone episodes. Suddenly, Dan Aykroyd pulls the ultimate, "You want to see something really scary?" and turns into a monster. Yikes, mood set. Segment 1, Time Out, the original one. Director, John Landis stars, Vic Morrow, Doug McGrath, Charles Hallahan. So here's the setup. A super racist guy suddenly finds himself bouncing through history, experiencing firsthand what it's like to be discriminated against. As a black man in the Jim Crow South, a Jewish guy during the Holocaust, and a Vietnamese man during the war. Heads up, this segment is infamous. There was a tragic accident during filming where Vic Morrow and 2 kids were killed by a helicopter crash. It changed the movie forever, and a lot of this segment ended up reworked or cut. Segment 2, Kick the Can, remake. Director, Steven Spielberg. Stars Scatman Crothers, Bill Quinn, based on a 1962 episode. A bunch of folks in a retirement home get another shot at childhood after playing a magical game of Kick the Can. Spielberg goes full heartwarming here, but honestly, most critics thought it was a little too sugary, especially compared to the creepier parts of the movie. Segment 3, It's a Good Life, remake. Director, Joe Dante stars, Kathleen Quinlan, Kevin McCarthy, Nancy Cartwright, Jeremy Licht. A schoolteacher stumbles into the world of a kid with scary, godlike powers. He basically turns his family home into a cartoon horror show. Lots of surreal, zany effects and major Twilight Zone vibes. Dante totally nails the weirdness. Segment 4, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, remake. Director, George Miller, Mad Max legend. Stars, John Lithgow. This is probably the most famous bit. John Lithgow's character is terrified of flying, and things get so much worse when he's the only one who spots a gremlin wrecking the plane mid-flight. No one believes him. All panic, claustrophobia, and classic Twilight Zone terror. Most people agree this segment is the film's showstopper, the tragedy nobody will forget. On July 23, 1982, while John Landis was filming Time Out, Vic Morrow and 2 illegally hired child actors were killed in a freak helicopter crash caused by a special effects explosion. The aftermath was ugly. Landis and others went on trial for involuntary manslaughter, although they were acquitted. The accident led to big changes in filmmaking safety and child labor laws, but it's a dark shadow that's impossible to ignore. So, how did it do? At the box office, it did okay, made about $42 million on a $10 million budget. Critics kind of split. Miller and Dante's segments got the love, especially that bonkers airplane piece and the mind-bending cartoon nightmare. Spielberg's warm and fuzzy Kick the Can felt out of place, while Landis's Time Out was left awkward and unfinished, which didn't help. To this day, the movie's mostly remembered for the on-set tragedy, but movie nerds still go crazy for the Miller and Dante sequences. Lasting impact. Even with all the baggage, Twilight Zone, the movie kept Rod Serling's legacy alive and helped lead to the 1985 TV reboot. It's got lingering influence for directors like Spielberg, Dante and Miller, who each put their stamp on it. But above all, the film's remembered, sometimes in a not-so-great way, for the accident that changed Hollywood's safety forever. The bottom line Twilight Zone. The movie is a strange beast, sometimes brilliant, sometimes awkward, always overshadowed by tragedy. If you watch it now, you'll probably be drawn in by the wild creativity of It's a Good Life and the sheer panic of Nightmare at 20,000 feet. But it's impossible not to feel the real-life darkness hanging over the whole thing. So yeah, it's both a tribute to Rod Serling's weird tales and a warning about what can go wrong in Hollywood. Watch it for the stories. Just know there's a lot more lurking beneath the surface.